Ladies and gentlemen, beneath the dark waters of the Persian Gulf, a silent warning has just been delivered. Iran's military has unveiled a move so carefully orchestrated, it feels less like a test and more like a declaration. Across satellite feeds, analysts watched as ballistic missiles streaked upward with deadly precision, cutting through the night sky like spears of fire. Each launch carried more than just payloads, it carried intent. The accuracy, the timing, and the sheer coordination all spoke of a military that has refined its tools for one reason: deterrence. Western powers, long accustomed to monitoring Iran's maneuvers, suddenly realized this was no ordinary exercise. It was a demonstration. Every missile that struck its target hundreds of miles away sent shockwaves through command centers from Washington to Tel Aviv. The message was unmistakable. Iran is no longer signaling capability, it is declaring readiness. This was not just about defending borders, it was about projecting influence far beyond them. For decades, sanctions, surveillance, and isolation aimed to weaken Iran's arsenal. Instead, what the world just witnessed was a terrifying announcement that the country's military technology has not only survived, it has evolved. From the skies above the desert, the next phase of Iran's message roared into view. Swarms of unmanned aerial vehicles, sleek and nearly invisible to radar, rose in coordinated formations. These were not simple drones, they were autonomous hunters capable of navigating hostile electronic environments where GPS signals vanish and jamming floods the airwaves. Each carried precision, guided munitions engineered to strike with minimal margin of error. Observers watching from control rooms felt a chill. This was a display of artificial intelligence meeting warfare. The drones maneuvered like predators circling prey, weaving through simulated defenses as though they already knew the enemy's moves. Iran's military wasn't just showing hardware, it was showcasing strategy. Layered swarms overwhelmed targets, striking in waves that left no time for counterattack. For adversaries, the lesson was brutal. Traditional air defenses are obsolete against this kind of saturation. Every drone launch was a direct challenge to the systems guarding warships, bases, and critical infrastructure across the region. Iran had just demonstrated that its skies are not only defended, they are weaponized. What began as a drone program dismissed years ago as crude now stands as a terrifying equalizer, reshaping the balance of power in the Middle East. Deep beneath fortified hangars, another revelation was set into motion: subterranean missile silos opening with mechanical precision. The ground trembled as colossal launch doors slid apart, exposing rows of long-range ballistic missiles. Each weapon, encased in armored steel, represented years of hidden advancement, shielded from prying satellites and foreign intelligence. The spectacle was deliberate. Cameras were invited, images leaked, and the world was meant to watch. This was Iran's underground arsenal, a vast network stretching across mountains and deserts, capable of firing from concealed positions impossible to preemptively strike. For military strategists, it was a nightmare scenario, missiles emerging like phantoms, undetectable until ignition. When the engines roared to life, their trajectories arched high, simulating strikes that could reach regional capitals or even bases thousands of miles away. The precision wasn't just technical, it was psychological. By unveiling these hidden chambers of firepower, Iran sent a direct signal. No amount of surveillance or pre-strike planning can neutralize what lies below. Every silo, every hidden tunnel carved into stone underscored one fact: its arsenal is not vulnerable, it is untouchable. For adversaries calculating the cost of confrontation, this was more than a threat. It was a chilling reminder that war would not begin on their terms. From the shores of the Persian Gulf, the sea itself became part of the warning. Iranian fast attack craft surged across the waves in synchronized formations, their hulls cutting through the water like blades. These were no ordinary patrol boats. Each was armed with anti-ship cruise missiles, torpedoes, and advanced radar evading systems. As they accelerated, the horizon lit up with missile trails arcing towards simulated targets at sea. Within moments, mock vessels were obliterated, reduced to burning wreckage scattered across the water. What startled observers wasn't just the firepower, it was the coordination. Dozens of vessels operated as if guided by one mind, weaving between each other with precision too perfect to be improvised. Overhead, reconnaissance drones transmitted every second of the drill, feeding targeting data directly to the missile crews below. Western naval strategists watching the footage knew exactly what it meant. In a real conflict, an entire carrier group could be swarmed, overwhelmed before defenses had time to lock on. Iran's navy, long underestimated, had just shown that the Gulf, one of the most critical choke points for global oil, is not open water, but a battlefield already prepared. Any ship sailing through now must face the reality that every wave hides a weapon. High above the horizon, another layer of Iran's warning unfolded. Its air defense network came alive. Radar domes rotated with surgical precision, scanning the skies, while mobile surfaced, where missile batteries rolled into position like armored predators waiting to strike. Suddenly, simulated enemy aircraft appeared on radar screens, and within seconds the response was unleashed. Long-range missiles streaked upward, breaking the sound barrier as they locked onto their targets. Explosions erupted across the sky, shattering drones and mock fighter jets with ruthless efficiency. What made the demonstration terrifying wasn't just the hardware, it was the integration. Multiple systems, both Russian and Iranian, built, worked seamlessly together in a layered shield designed to protect not just cities, but critical military infrastructure deep inside the country. Analysts realized this wasn't a patchwork defense. It was a wall of firepower built to deny air superiority to any opponent. For decades, air dominance has been the West's greatest advantage, but here, on full display, was a network designed to neutralize it. By revealing this shield, Iran's message was sharp and unmissable. The skies are closed, the approach is dangerous, and any aircraft that dares to challenge will not leave intact. In the heart of Tehran's command centers, another battlefield flickered to life, one without missiles, ships, or drones. Rows of operators sat before glowing screens, fingers flying across keyboards as cyber warfare drills unfolded in real time. Networks representing enemy infrastructure were probed, infiltrated, and shut down in simulated attacks that reached far beyond borders. Power grids collapsed, radar systems went blind, and communications dissolved into static, all with keystrokes, not gunfire. What startled military analysts was the precision. These weren't crude hacks, but advanced, coordinated strikes capable of paralyzing an adversary before the first shot is fired. Iranian commanders showcased malware tailored to disrupt satellite navigation, disable air defense networks, and sow chaos inside command structures. For enemies accustomed to thinking of warfare in terms of ships and missiles, this was a chilling evolution. The battlefield had expanded into cyberspace where distance offered no protection and defense was uncertain at best. By broadcasting these capabilities, Iran's message was unmistakable. Even the most advanced militaries can be blinded, cut off, and dismantled from within. This wasn't just a threat of war. It was the promise that the fight could begin long before an enemy even realized it had already lost control. Far out in the desert, another demonstration unfolded, this time focused on speed, hypersonic technology that shattered expectations. A sleek missile, longer and sharper than anything previously displayed, was unveiled before cameras, its design optimized to slice through the atmosphere at unimaginable velocities. When ignition came, the roar was deafening. the ground trembling as the weapon tore upward, vanishing into the stratosphere in seconds. Analysts tracking its path were stunned. The missile didn't follow a predictable arc like traditional weapons. Instead, it weaved, shifted, and darted across trajectories, making interception nearly impossible. Defense systems designed to anticipate ballistic flight patterns suddenly appeared useless. Within minutes, the missile struck its simulated target with such force that it left nothing but scorched earth and twisted metal. The world had just witnessed the fusion of speed, precision, and unpredictability. For adversaries, the message was brutal. Hypersonics could bypass every shield, every defense line, striking faster than warnings could be issued. By revealing this weapon, Iran wasn't just showing a missile, it was showing the collapse of an entire defensive doctrine. The implication was clear. Even the most fortified bases, once thought untouchable, now lie within reach of destruction at speeds too fast to counter. Across the mountains of western Iran, a new kind of power was revealed. Mobile artillery systems rolling out from concealed shelters, their barrels elevated toward distant horizons. But these were not the crude rocket launchers of the past. These were precision, guided artillery platforms, each one linked into a battlefield network that synchronized targeting data in real time. As the exercise began, volleys erupted in staggering unison. Shells and rockets arced high into the air, guided mid-flight by drones transmitting live imagery to operators on the ground. What followed was devastation delivered with surgical accuracy. Simulated enemy bunkers, armored columns, and fortified positions were struck simultaneously, obliterated with pinpoint precision. For decades, artillery was considered the blunt instrument of war, powerful but imprecise. Now, Iran had transformed it into a scalpel. The demonstration left no doubt. Armored divisions or entrenched units would have no time to maneuver, no chance to regroup. With this fusion of artillery and drone reconnaissance, Iran had turned one of warfare's oldest tools into a modern terror. The message echoed across the region, even on the ground, far from skies and seas. The battlefield is mapped, the targets are locked, and every move has already been anticipated. In the vast emptiness of the desert night, another weapon stirred, a fleet of long-range cruise missiles, sleek and almost ghost-like, prepared for launch. And like the thunderous roar of ballistic missiles, these slipped into the air with a low growl, hugging the earth as they raced toward distant coordinates. Their flight path was chilling, weaving through valleys, skimming barely above rooftops, vanishing from radar screens until it was too late. Each carried advanced guidance systems that used terrain mapping technology, ensuring they could bypass even the most sophisticated defenses. When they struck, the explosions were not just powerful, they were devastatingly precise, reducing mock command centers and hardened bunkers into rubble within seconds. Western analysts who reviewed the footage knew the implications immediately. These missiles could bypass border defenses, fly undetected for hours, and cripple critical infrastructure deep inside enemy territory. Power stations, communication hubs, even military headquarters, all were vulnerable. Iran's decision to unveil them was deliberate, sending an unmistakable message: no distance is safe, no defense is absolute. By proving its reach extends far beyond its borders, Iran was not just defending territory. It was announcing that in any future conflict, retaliation could arrive silently, swiftly, and with terrifying accuracy. And then came the final act, the convergence of every weapon, every system, every message into one overwhelming display of unity. From the skies, drones swarmed in coordinated waves. From the ground, missiles roared upward, their trails carving fire into the night. At sea, fast attack craft surged in deadly formations, launching volleys that turned the horizon into chaos. Cyber units joined the assault, simulating the blackout of communications and power grids, while artillery thundered in unison with hypersonics that shattered the air. It was not just a military drill, it was theater, a performance designed to be witnessed by the world. The message rang louder than words. Iran's military is no longer isolated, fragmented, or predictable. It is layered, modernized, and synchronized across every domain of warfare: land, sea, air, space, and cyber. For adversaries watching, the terrifying truth settled in: this was not the Iran of decades past. Every demonstration was a piece of a larger puzzle, each weapon reinforcing the other, creating a defense and offense so tightly woven it cannot be easily undone. As the final explosions echoed into silence, one reality was undeniable: Iran had just delivered a message not of potential, but of readiness.